how technology can help or harm people with ADHD. There are days when my mind feels like it's racing in 10 different directions, and I can't seem to hold on to a single thought long enough to get anything done. It's like I know what needs to happen, but the steps to get there keep slipping away. That's where technology has saved me more times than I can count. The moment I started using apps to help me organize my time, something clicked. Suddenly, the things I used to forget all the time, appointments, tasks, even small chores, stopped disappearing from my mind. They were right there on my phone, reminding me before I had a chance to let them slip away. I set alarms for everything, not just for waking up, but for starting work, taking breaks, remembering to eat, and even winding down before bed. Each little buzz keeps me grounded, like a gentle tap on the shoulder saying, "Hey, don't drift off, you got this to do." It's not that I became a completely different person overnight, but I started feeling like I had some control. The calendar app became more than just a schedule. It turned into my guide for the day. I could see what was coming up, plan my time, and, even better, stop feeling guilty for forgetting things because the reminders wouldn't let me. The focus timers were a game changer. I never realized how much time I was losing until I tried one. I set the timer for 25 minutes and told myself, just work until it rings. Suddenly, tasks that had been sitting undone for days started getting finished. Knowing there was a timer running helped me stay in the moment because I could see an end in sight. It felt like a small win every time I heard the buzzer. Those small wins added up, giving me this sense of progress that my brain had been craving for so long. Even on the days when everything felt too overwhelming, having that technology there made it easier to start. I didn't need to figure out the whole day all at once. I just had to follow the next reminder or start the next timer. Bit by bit, the chaos in my mind started feeling less like a storm and more like something I could manage. There are times when I pick up my phone just to check the time, and the next thing I know, I've lost an hour. It starts so harmless, maybe opening a social media app to reply to a message, but then a video pops up or a headline grabs my attention. Suddenly, I'm caught in this loop, scrolling, tapping, watching, and it feels like my brain is being pulled in every direction. With ADHD, that pull is even stronger. My mind already struggles to stay on one path, and these apps seem designed to keep me jumping from one thing to another, making it harder to break free. I catch myself watching videos I don't care about or reading comments that make me upset, but I can't seem to stop. It's like my brain is chasing little bursts of excitement, hoping the next post will be worth it, but it never is. The longer I scroll, the more drained I feel. What started as a quick break turns into this foggy exhaustion. And the worst part is that the tasks I was supposed to do are still waiting. Now I've lost time, I'm behind, and guilt creeps in like a weight on my chest. I tell myself I'll do better tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and the cycle starts again. Notifications make it even harder. I'll be focused, finally in a groove, and then ding, a message, an alert, or some app nudging me to check it. That tiny sound is like a hook pulling me out of whatever I was doing. My focus shatters, and sometimes it takes me 10, 20 minutes just to get back on track, if I even get back at all. I've had entire afternoons slip away because one notification led me down a rabbit hole I didn't plan to enter. The hardest part is that these distractions don't just waste time, they mess with how I feel about myself. I start questioning why I can't control this, why everyone else seems to handle their phones fine and I can't. That guilt and frustration pile up, and instead of fixing it, I grab my phone again because for a few minutes, scrolling feels easier than facing those thoughts. Some days, I rely so much on technology to keep me together that I don't even realize when it starts working against me. At first, it feels good. Apps reminding me to drink water, calendars keeping my day in order, timers helping me stay on task. It's like having a personal assistant who never forgets anything, filling in all the gaps my ADHD leaves behind. But then, there are days when all becomes too much. My phone vibrates, my smartwatch beeps, a pop-up flashes on my laptop. Everything is calling me at once, pulling at my brain from every side. Instead of keeping me focused, it feels like I'm being chased. I'll be in the middle of something important, and the sound of an alert cuts through my concentration like a knife. It's not always a distraction leading me to social media. Sometimes it's just another reminder or task update, but the constant interruptions pile up, and each one makes it harder to hold on to my thoughts. I start feeling like I'm juggling 10 things at the same time, except I'm not even sure which one I should be catching first. My mind races faster, and that calm sense of control I had at the beginning of the day starts slipping away. There's this point when all those helpful tools start blending into noise. I open an app to check something, but I've already forgotten why I picked up my phone. My head gets foggy, my heart speeds up, and suddenly everything feels urgent, even when nothing really is. I try to push through, but my focus keeps breaking. By the end of the day, I'm drained. Not just tired, but that deep, burned out exhaustion that makes me want to shut everything off and disappear under a blanket. What started as a system to help me stay organized leaves me feeling scattered again, like I'm back at square one. Except now, there's an extra layer of frustration because I thought technology was supposed to make this easier. Instead, it's like I build a maze around myself, and every alert, every buzz just sends me running in circles. It took me a long time to realize that technology itself wasn't the problem. How I was using it was. My brain works differently, and trying to force myself to fit into systems made for people who don't have ADHD just left me feeling more frustrated. Once I started shaping my devices around the way my mind actually works, everything began to feel a little less overwhelming. I stopped expecting apps to fix me and started using them to support me. That's when things began to change. I figured out that not every reminder needs to buzz loudly in the middle of the day. Sometimes, a gentle vibration on my watch works better than a sharp sound on my phone that jolts me out of my thoughts. Other times, I need a visual reminder like seeing my task pinned right on my home screen. I learned to customize everything, notifications, colors, even the way certain apps show up. So my phone felt less like a drill sergeant and more like a calm friend giving me a nudge when I needed it. Turning on Do Not Disturb became one of the best decisions I ever made. It gave me space to work without feeling like I had to check every message the second it popped up. I set it to let through only the important stuff, calls from family or urgent texts, while everything else could wait. That silence made it easier to focus, but more importantly, it stopped that anxious feeling of being on edge, waiting for my phone to go off. I also found that using fewer apps worked better than trying to juggle 10 different ones. I picked one app for tasks, one for my calendar, and one for focus timers. Keeping it simple stopped me from getting lost in setting things up all the time. And instead of trying to follow some perfect routine, I built a rhythm that matched my energy. Some days I need more structure, other days I need flexibility. My phone adapted to me, not the other way around. That's when it finally started to feel like technology was helping me move forward instead of holding me back. There was a point when I realized that technology was always going to be part of my life, but it didn't have to control me. I started small because anything too strict never works for me. I set little rules that felt doable, like not checking my phone first thing in the morning. That simple change made my day feel less rushed, less like I was already behind before I even got out of bed. I began leaving my phone across the room at night, so I had to physically get up to grab it. That stopped me from scrolling mindlessly in bed, and it helped me fall asleep without that buzzing feeling in my head. Taking breaks was harder. I'm a kind of person who either works nonstop until I'm burnt out or gets stuck in an endless loop of distractions. Finding the middle ground took time. I started using breaks as rewards. After focusing for a bit, I let myself step away, stretch, or grab a coffee. The break became part of the work, not something I had to feel guilty about. It kept me from feeling like I was chained to my screen, and it actually made me get more done because I wasn't running on empty by the afternoon. Limiting social media was the toughest habit to build. I used to tell myself I'd check just for 5 minutes, but it was never 5 minutes. I had to put barriers in place, setting app limits, turning off notifications, and even deleting apps for a while when they felt too overwhelming. It wasn't about cutting everything out forever. It was about creating space so I could choose when I wanted to check, instead of being dragged into it every time my brain was bored. Unplugging became something I had to learn like skill. Putting my phone down and walking away felt uncomfortable at first, like I was missing something important. But the more I did it, the more I noticed how quiet my mind felt. That calm, even for a few minutes, reminded me that technology works best when it's a tool, not a leash.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, we prepared the next video especially for you. Click here to watch.